Hey guys, it's NeoFX. It's February 25th, 2020. So I had a few requests, and I think it's time for a little update as well. We're going to go over a couple of crypto setups, and we're going to go over some new trades that we're going to put out in both Forex and cryptos. And also, we're going to go over a couple current positions we're in. Okay, so and most importantly, towards the end, I'm gonna go over a trade that I sent out here a couple days, well, about 5 days ago. Um, and we're actually gonna reverse course on this, and I think it'll be very interesting. Um, if you guys are somewhat skeptical of doing that kind of thing, I know we've heard the old, uh, stick to your original opinion and yeah, but you also want to be flexible as much as possible. You don't want to marry a trade. If signs show up that tell you otherwise from your original analysis, by all means, you got to be flexible enough to at least consider changing course. So we'll go over that with the Australian Aussie here. A couple other trades that we've got going on that are going pretty well. We sold this a couple of weeks ago, the Australian Canadian at about 89.75. We are at we're almost at our target on this at we're going for 325 pips. We got a little bit more to go, but this worked out perfectly. This level, 39.75 was exactly where I sent this out. Literally, the timing was perfect. And here's the daily chart on that at the time. So we're doing pretty good on that. We've got the New Zealand, I'm sorry, Euro New Zealand. I sent out about 10 days ago. And on this one, we had just gotten about, I want to say about 300 pips almost. 200 some pips on this short, and we literally went right back to it and bought this 618, and we're going for 315 pips to 73. We bought it at about 168.85. This is the picks I sent out with my subscription. I'm as detailed as possible with my pictures and my analysis and my entry targets and stop losses. um, so on this one, we bought it right back. Here's what it's doing right now. The market's been a little slow, but the setup worked beautifully, beautifully. Um, Here's that again. Okay, 4 hour, 4 hour. Uh, Came a little bit below. Our stop is, I think we're at 170, 167.50, below the 76. So pretty nice trade on this one, definitely. We are still also short, being a little stubborn, but we're short this one. I don't know, I think we're bound to go down. Uh, it's getting a little tight, but I think overall, I think this was the midterm peak. I think we're going down first, possibly up eventually, but I think it needs to pull back a little bit. And we're going for about 600 pips on this. So this is exactly where we sold, and honestly, the last week or so, uh, it went down about. I mean, we were up about 180 pips, but it's come back, and it's gonna do that within this area here. It's gonna do that. My guess is we break these trend lines, these moving averages, and we go down. But we're gonna keep our eyes open on that. Also, what did I send out? I sent out about a week ago or so the XRP. We're at I don't know, 30 cents at the time. I said we're probably bound to go down a little bit more to get a clear pattern. This is too tight for this to go up, for this to be a Fibonacci pullback buy zone. We got an AB, but this is not a C. It rarely is. Had it been a little more extended, maybe, but typically when you get it this tight, and you haven't expanded, you're probably going to get an ABC correction, okay, or a small ABCD, whatever you want to call it. But so since then, this is what we got on that. Let me see. It just pierced through a little bit, but essentially, I said, where were we? I said this 24 area, and we are currently 2388. It's right there. We're right there. I think it's still valid unless it's really really breaks the downside. I think we're in a good spot. We had a major run up, guys, the last 2 3 weeks. I mean, a lot of these cryptos have gone up 100+%. So a little pullback was bound to happen. Nothing to worry about. Uh, Bitcoin has, I mean, we're there, guys. I've been telling you for I don't know how long. We are there. Everything was confirmed. The break that I talked about towards the end of last year. The moment this breaks up against this counter trend line, um, that's it. That's our cue. That's our confirmation that the bottom is in. And sure enough, what happened after that? Literally after that, we went from 3,000 to almost 14,000, guys. This went up almost 400%. Okay, so a pullback after that, absolutely. And within a smaller time frame, after this bounce from 6,500 to what, 10,500? I mean, almost double. Well, yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of a pullback. I mean, nothing to this. This is just an opportunity to add to your positions. That's all this is. If you really know how to look at this. All right. So I think we are looking very, very good. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen around May for the uh, halving event for Bitcoin. I say, I mean, I guys, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin touches those. I don't know. The timing is going to be hard, but it would not surprise me if we get up to about 17, 18,000 by this summer. It will not surprise me. So we're gonna have to see what happens. We're gonna have to see how long this area right here stretches out. But it cannot be that much. It cannot be that much longer. I promise you. It's getting very tight. Man, what a ride this has been. It just, I mean, I have increased my holdings on every possible dip across the board. So I say we're still extremely bullish, but these little dips, guys, I mean, you go from 3,000 to 14,000. Well, you're bound to come back 50, 60%. You're bound. Sure enough, it did. I say that was about it. Counter trend line broke to the backside of that, still within the channel. Little pullback is expected. I say the bottom is in. All you have to be concerned with is this level right here. Anything, in my opinion, if for the next 2 years, anything within this and the all-time high, anywhere here, will be a pretty solid buy. Now, granted, I've been loading up since 6,800 last summer all the way down to 3. Absolutely been loading up on it. I bought some more at about 7,900 on this dip about a month ago. Sorry, a couple months ago. And I may add some more. That's how confident I am. These little pullbacks do not faze me at all. Okay. So extremely bullish still on cryptocurrencies. Hands down. Hands down. Nothing to worry about. I promise you. This is what we want. It's carving out a perfect bottom with a breakout confirmation and then a natural healthy pullback after that. Because what will worry me is if this bottom was in and then we go up back to all-time highs in a tweezer top type of pattern, in a double top type of pattern, that will be worrisome. That could be ground for this to come back heavy. But this is exactly what we want. Okay. And on my service, we've been riding these on smaller time frames. I mean, the last couple months. My crypto subscribers are a big time on this. Australian New Zealand dollar. Okay. So I wanted to show you this because I think it's a very good example. It's a very good example of how to essentially know when maybe, just maybe, you were a little early, perhaps into a certain trade, or if you were wrong altogether. Doesn't matter. They're usually the same thing. But in this case, I say we're probably a little early and not wrong, and I'll tell you why. The basis for that buy for that call last week was that this was squeezing into this very tight pattern here, and with a pretty strong support on the trend lines, and bounces off of it. Moving averages were respecting it. When we broke the downtrend line, what do I say? Wait for a bounce to the backside of it. Let it back test the backside of the broken trend line, then go long again. So we had that going for us. So I can dismiss this section because this has happened this last week. But this is where we were when I recommended buying this. Okay, at 104.50. Well, what happened? Why am I changing my mind? And why I think you should think in these terms if you're a swing trader as I am. Well, time symmetry. Time symmetry is everything with the setups that I deal with. If this was to go up when I thought it would, it probably would have made it should have made new all-time highs. I'm sorry, it should have made new highs now from this A, B, C level. Okay, because in my mind, this was the C pullback to buy off of and go long. What happened? It did momentarily. We went up. We're up. I don't know, 30, 40 pips at one point, and then we had this going on. What I think it wants to do is essentially complete a bullish Gartley. That's it. The 618 should be ideal. The 618 of this XA leg, obviously, which would give us essentially where's the ABC? A real ABC level, okay. But on the way to our C, ideally, if we can, we'll take that pullback in also an ABCD fashion, which is basically what a Gartley is, or I mean, different people call them different things, but I keep it simple. It's a Gartley pattern to me. So I think it wants to come back anywhere into the 618 to possibly, I don't think it'll go this low, but possibly this 786. So we're looking at 103.80 to 103.50, 30 pip range. Not a big deal. Anywhere within this. So I think we just got out. I just sent this out to my subscribers. We just got out at basically break even because he came back to 1.0450. That's exactly where we bought when we were back here. So no pips lost whatsoever. We just changed course. Okay, we just reversed our long position for a short one. The beauty of this one is that I still think we're gonna go up. It's just not yet. So what's that tell you? What that tells you is that we can possibly make about 70 to 100 pips on this leg down, and then still be able to buy if time symmetry is right. I think we're going up on this. I think we're going. I just don't know if we're ready quite yet. So we can essentially leverage this swing trade two ways by going short for about 70 to 100 pips. And then going long for, what's that, 103.50, let's call it, to 105. That's for another 230 pips. So the original 135 pip target buy on this from this level, all of a sudden can turn into a 300 plus. if we get the short right, okay, if this doesn't did fall, and then if we find support like I expected to, and then go up, okay, uh, I think we're going up. Eventually, we're going up because we have had quite the downtrend, needless to say. But we have a very beautiful rounded bottom. Uh, the short term, this little downtrend, counter downtrend line. Sorry, counter trend line got broken clearly. Last highs were broken. Trend line was broken. It came back to the backside of it, but I think it's gonna do a second test essentially, um, and bring us at this level, which would complete this bullish pattern. Why do I think we're also going up? Besides the bottoming and the breakup trend, which is the very first thing that I go off of. You know that very well by now. Okay, breakup trend is the first thing. That's it. This was the trend line, the last low before the last little high. This is how you draw it. The moment this breaks, guys, it's your cue. Okay, that's your cue that something's about to happen, and that's where the fun starts. Doesn't mean you have to go long right away. No, but it gives you it sets a red flag out. It sets that alarm essentially. It should go off on your head automatically. Okay, and even if it's not ready to be bought yet, at least you know to come back to that specific pair because I trade 25 plus currency pairs, plus probably a couple dozen different cryptos, and I don't know how many stocks and indexes. So it's very important to constantly check these from time to time and give yourself these types of reminders. Okay, these arrows right here, these are not just to illustrate the trade setup to my subscribers. They're also for me. That way, as I come back, as I shuffle through these different pairs, I know what I did last time because I know my analysis, so I know what I'm looking at. But I know where I was at last time, and I know that last time I essentially gave myself a hint that, hey, we broke it. Let's wait for a little safe pullback to this. And if prices are there, it'll literally take me 30 seconds at that point, whenever that is, whatever the point in time is. 30 seconds to verify that because I've already done the math previously. I've already visualized this in my head. It's just the picture always changes a little bit, each day, each week as you come back to these. So these are little reminders. I say, in my opinion, we go short, very tight stop, 20, 30 pip stop. We don't have to risk this. Can this go up from here like I originally thought it would? Yeah, it can. I don't think it will. I think it's rolling over. I'd be very surprised if we shoot up. Okay, but can he go up? Yes, he can. And then you're gonna say, well, see, you should have stuck to your original analysis. Well, no, I see nothing as of right now, in my opinion. Anything can happen. Yes, that's a different story. But I see nothing in front of me right now that tells me that this is gonna go up. At least not in the very short term. It's gonna go up, I think, eventually, but I think he wants to come back down a little bit first. Okay, we have beautiful confluence with our Fibonacci's. Beautiful, beautiful levels to look at. I say we come back to at least the 618, but possibly into 103.60, 65. Okay, this area right here. I say we come back first, and then it's an even safer and better and longer ride up to go long if we come down there. Right now, it's a little choppy, a little risky. So it is. We sent this out originally to buy about a week ago. I'm changing my essentially reversing my trade call from a long to a short. It's very short term, but we are definitely getting out of the long, going short instead. And if everything matches in terms of pattern and time symmetry, we will then finally go fully long on this and go for 103, about 230 plus pips on the way up, plus 70 to 100 on the way down. If we get it, what was supposed to be a 135 pip long setup could now be leveraged into a 350, maybe 400 pip um, um, trade swing. Okay, by doing this. All right, there you have it. Exactly what I expected. We turned around, went down, I mean, to the pip on the 618, which is where I said to buy, possibly down to 103.60. And here's our confirmation, guys. Here's our confirmation. Blew up, new highs, and what I always say, don't worry if you missed the first entry. I mean, that's ideal. Obviously, you get more pips, but look, you'll always have another chance. So anybody watching this now, yeah, you can definitely take this level, and the target will be the same because we're still within this A, B, C, D pattern. So anything within the C and the D point are going to be buys. Okay? So it worked out pretty nicely. Our short and then confirmation bounce to the 618. The confirmation will be essentially a blow up, a run up in prices from that level. Okay? But also a break of trend lines, a break of the new high. I'm sorry, the last high. And there you go. There you go. Got a new high. It typically does that. It comes back. Every time a new high or low is broken, it comes back. So that's your chance to get back in again. But I think this was a great example of how to, again, not marry a trade, be flexible, and if this goes to our target, not only did we get the 75 pips on the way down, but 380, so that's another. So this could be a 350 plus trade swing, okay? Swing trade, but you know what I mean. Trade swing in terms of us changing positions and reversing course mid trade, and then finally going back to the original assumption, which was to go long. All right, guys. Hope this helps. Thank you very much.